morning, students. Today we are doing lesson 7.1 and it's solving systems of equations by graphing. So first let's talk about what systems of equations are. All that means is that we're going to have more than one equation, okay? And we're going to try to find where both equations have the same answer. Okay, so let's do an example. We're going to jump right in with examples, and we only have 3 examples today, so this is probably going to go kind of quick. So the first one says, is 11-2 a solution to the system? And then the system that they give you. Okay, so your answer is going to be yes or no. Is that a solution? And then this is the system. X minus 9 equals x minus y equals 9, and 2x plus y equals 9. So I have 2 equations there. So if I only had one equation and I asked, is 11-2 a solution? You know how to do that. It's kind of like checking your work, okay? But we're not going to call this a check, even though it really is. But we're checking to see if each of those equations works with 11-12. So let's try the first one. Okay, so instead of x, I'm going to put 11, right? Because 11 is the x and 2 is the y. So I have 11 minus 2 equals 9. Okay, is that true? Well, 11 minus 2 is 9, and 9 equals 9. So the first one checks. Okay, that one works. Let's try the second one. We're going to put 11 in for the x and 2 in for the y again. So I have 2 times 11 plus 2 equals 9. So you see where I put, instead of x right here, I put 11, and instead of y, I put 2. Okay, so now when I solve this, 22 plus 2, well, 22 plus 2 is 24, and that does not equal 9. So that's wrong, right? It doesn't work. So where it says up here, is this a solution to the system, is the answer is no. Okay? Pretty simple. This is the first part of your homework you're going to be doing. They're going to give you a point, like 11-2, and they're going to give you 2 equations, and they're going to say, is that a solution? So you're just going to say yes or no. Okay, and this is how you do it. So you're putting in a check. Okay, still with example 1, we're going to do a different one. So that's not a solution. Let's see if 6 negative 3 is a solution. So we're going to use the same problem up here. Okay, I'm just not going to rewrite it again. Or you know what? I'll rewrite it on top. Maybe that will help you see it a little bit better. Okay, so those are my 2 equations. And now I'm going to put 6 for the x and negative 3 for the y. Okay, so I have 6 minus negative 3 equals 9. Okay, well, minus a negative 3 means plus a positive 3, right? So I have 9 equals 9. Well, that one works. Now let's go over here and do the second one. 2 times 6 plus negative 3 equals 9. So 2 times 6 is 12 plus negative 3 is 12 plus negative 3 is 9. So that one checks out too. So when it asks, is this a solution? Is 6 negative 3 a solution? Then I would write yes as my answer. Okay, so we use the same system and we check 2 different points. The first one, 11-2, did not work, but the second one, 6 negative 3, did. So the first answer was no, and the second answer was yes. Okay, so that's what you're going to do in your first problem, first parts of your homework. But what we want to know is how to find this answer, 6 negative 3, how to know when a point is going to work for both of them. We don't want to just go around guessing because that would take us forever, right? So let me show you how we're going to do that with graphing. So our next point is going to be example 2. And these are our points. This is the problem. It says solve the system. So on your homework, if it says solve the system, this is what you're going to do. So I'm going to have x plus y equals negative 2 and x minus y equals 4. So I'm going to solve this system by graphing. Okay, so I'm going to set up a graph over here. Not really sure how big it needs to be, so I'm just going to kind of make it pretty big. Okay, I can change these to slope-intercept form to graph them, or I could set up t-charts. But in your book, it shows it doing slope-intercept form. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this first one, and I'm going to change it into slope-intercept form. And this one is super easy. I just minus x on both sides, and I get y equals negative x minus 2. Okay, let's go ahead and graph this one before we go to the next one. Okay, so for my graph, my y-intercept is negative 2. That's right here. And my slope is negative 1. Okay, so negative 1 means I'm going to go up 1 and to the left 1, right? So that's negative 1. Now, before I draw the line, I want to stop and take a minute to show you how important this line is. So if I try to connect these two dots and I do something like this, okay, I am way off because I'm not using a ruler is one reason. But if you try to go along with these points and you follow along where the next point should be, the next point should have been here. See how I'm going corner to corner? The next point should have been here. And do you see how far off my line is with these points? Look right here. This line is totally off from my points. So I want to be very careful, especially on solving systems, with where my points are going. And where my line is going, really. So you really need to use a ruler in this. Okay, so this time when I draw it, I'm going to be very careful about making sure that I'm going really straight. Now, I really wanted to go get a ruler and try to use it on my screen today, but I'm just going to be really careful, okay? Okay, but you need to use ruler. Okay, now we drew the first line. Let's go ahead and take this second part and write it in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to rewrite it right here. And then I'm going to minus x on both sides. So I have negative y equals negative x plus 4. If you have a negative y, that means that it's a negative 1, right? So I'm going to divide by negative 1, and I'm going to divide everything by negative 1. So y equals positive x minus 4, or plus a negative 4. So this was the first one I graphed, and now this is going to be the next one I graph. So this one is telling me that my intercept is, hold on, let me make sure that I wrote this down right. Oh, yes, okay. My intercept is negative 4, so that's going to be down here. And then my slope is 1, so I'm going to go up 1 and over 1. Okay, and then that's my line. So I'm going to go and make sure that it's super straight on all these. Okay, and there's my second line. So I should have labeled this one. This one was x plus y equals negative 2. And now this one was x minus y equals 4. Remember, you always label with the first equations, right? Not what you changed it into. So now that I have the two equations, I can see where they intersect. And where they intersect is my answer. So my answer is 1, negative 3. Okay? And that's what they want to know. This is my answer. So that's what I would answer in the book. Okay? And so if my lines were a little bit off, so let's go, I'm going to do this in different colors so you can see it. If I had drawn this first one, and I had drawn it kind of crooked, right? There's my crooked line. And this one was not as crooked, okay? Then it looks like they're crossing right here instead of right here where they're supposed to be crossing. And that's why you need to make sure that you do not draw crooked lines, okay? Because then you will not be able to tell where they're really crossing at. Okay, one more example. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to solve another system. Let me get back to a different color. Okay, we're going with pinks today because that's my favorite color. Example 3, we're going to do x plus y equals 5 and 3x plus y equals 7. So the first thing I need to do is graph these two equations. So because I see this number 7, I think, oh, my graph might need to be a little bit bigger. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that I make it as long as I really can get it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me try to make it just a little bit longer Just think it's going to end up being a big number here. Okay, now let's try the first one. I'm going to change it to slope-intercept form so I can graph it. If you want to make a t-chart, this one's pretty easy to make a t-chart, right? X plus y equals 5, so it would be like 1, 4, 2, 3, and 3, 3. Actually, let's go ahead and do a t-chart on this one. It shows you in the book to do slope-intercept form, but we can do it either way. Just make sure that you're getting the right answers here. So the first one is 1, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then 2, 3, then 3, oh, that was wrong. That should be 3, 2. Sorry, 3, 2. Okay, and there's my point. So I'm going to draw my line. Remember, I'm going to try to be really careful at making sure that I go through the right points. I think that one got a little bit off at the top. Okay, and then my second one, 3x plus y equals 7. That one's a little bit harder to do a t-chart for. So I'm going to go ahead and change it to slope-intercept form, because I think that would be much easier to graph. Okay, so I get y equals negative 3x plus 7. So my y-intercept is 7. So I need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's my first point. And then negative 3 means I'm going to go up 3 and over 1. Well, if I do that up on the top graph, I'm going to be way over here somewhere, right? And I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to go up. I'm going to go down 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm right here. And over 1. But when I go over, I want to make sure that this is leaning left. So, oh, I hit that point right there. It's kind of hard to see because I'm doubling up, right? But that's the point I'm hitting. So I'm going to go ahead and do it again. I'm going to go down 3 and over 1. And now I have 3 points. I can even do it again. 1, 2, 3, and over 1. Okay, now I have these points where I can connect all of them. Okay, and when I do that, you see the point where they're both intersecting is where that little arrow is that I made. And that point is 1, 4. And that's my answer. Okay, that's all you're doing today. And now I'm done. So you're going to graph 2 lines and you're going to see where they intersect. Many of the ones in your homework, or actually all of them in your homework, will intersect on exact lines. So if you get ones that are intersecting like this in the middle of somewhere, and they don't have exact points, then you're probably not drawing it correctly with your ruler. So make sure that they're super duper straight. And when you make your points, like when you make your points here, don't make them so big, because then I can like connect this part of the point and that part of the point. Okay, you want to make sure that you're going right through those corners. So when I go like that. And it's not always corner to corner. Sometimes it's like this one and this one. So it might, the box is more like a rectangle that you're going corner to corner. And then the next one has to be the same. Okay, I hope that makes sense what I'm saying. Okay, so that's it for today. And tomorrow we're going to do some of the same thing. I'm just going to show you some new instances that you'll have. And that's it for today.